Hello art friends, my name is Fleshwad, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I will be reading 2r/Let's Not Meet stories for you. I've also been experimenting with a different type of style, and I'd like to call it my anime style, so you're going to be seeing some of these commissions in the video. So I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone who has commissioned me in this style, and I hope you enjoy. Creepy old lady followed us back to probably kidnap me. Posted by u/SoBreezy74. News about child abductions have become more frequent in my country, so this has led to an old encounter my mom reminded me of from when I was a wee lass. This happened when I was about 5 or 6 years old. My mother was a dealer for Coca-Cola at the time in the rural regions of my city, so that meant she and her fellow employees would be delivering crates of Coke to little villages in the boonies regularly. On this particular day, no deliveries were scheduled, and anything that was to be delivered was done, so we were all hanging out at the warehouse. My mom figured since it was the end of the week, let's all go on a little road trip with the crew. Everyone agreed. Then one of the crew suggested we go see this new inland resort a couple of towns over. It was nothing fancy, just a large area with a few pools, a pond where you can catch your own catfish for meals, and bamboo huts along the side. We all get in the truck and off we go. We arrive sometime in the early afternoon, and Mom is telling members of the crew what to do. One books a hut, one gets her stuff in order, and someone to keep an eye on me. While I look around, but never wandering too far, I see this old lady, maybe late 40s or 50s, looking at me. I was a friendly kid, so I waved and smiled. She just stared at me, so I told the crew member who was looking after me, who in turn told my mom. She informed everyone to watch out for her and to make sure someone always has eyes on me. We proceed on the merrymaking. I'm swimming in the pool, Mom and crew are having a few drinks and eating catfish. This dragged on till maybe 6 or 7 p.m. I stayed in the pool majority of the time and would just come up for a bite or a drink of soda, but on my last attempt to jump in, I see from the far end of the pool the same old lady. I immediately tell my mom, who looks in her direction, and tells everyone we're packing up and going back to the warehouse. We get back and Mom requests that 3 of the guys stay the night at the old house, and if they could, to stay up one at a time, just to be safe. Sometime in the middle of the night, I get woken up to my mom telling me to be quiet and follow her to one of the bedrooms in the back, and to leave my slippers so we don't make noise. I ask why, and she points outside. On the other side of the gate was the same lady. She insists I go to one of the rooms in the back of the house and stay there till she gets me. I follow and then hear her wake the crew up. I hear them leave the house and confront the lady by the gate with questions like, "Who are you? What do you want? How did you follow us?" But Mom said she just glared at them while mumbling, and now and then would crane her neck, looking past them as if to look for someone. She eventually leaves, and in the morning I am taken back to the city to my actual house, while my mom went back to the town to continue her job and inform the local authorities of the lady. Never saw the lady again. It's been 20 years. Update. So I asked my mom about the old lady again and whatever happened to her report. She said that she and the 3 crew members that confronted her went straight to the town hall before they started on work. It's a small town, so it wasn't that hard to find someone via description, and they did find out who she was. Local authorities went to this little bamboo hut on the edge of town about a mile into some wooded area. The plan was just to give her a warning, but when they got to the hut, nobody was in. They checked the windows, but nobody was inside or around the area. Someone did live there because there were ducks and chickens in a small pen on the side of the house. They decided to just leave and update Mom later in the afternoon. Nothing to update. They never saw anyone at the house again. Online dating. Posted by Anonymous. I've had so many creepy situations in my life that this sub brought me out of lurking. Female at the time of the story, 16 years young. and every ounce of naive that 16 can handle. 2003-ish. I started chatting up a dude on some forum because his username had the likes of a band lyric in it. I swooned. He added me on MSN, and we continued to talk for quite some time. I lied about my age. Stupid. Saying that I was 18. He was 20-something. We had some phone conversations, and he seemed like a relatively awesome dude. And I wanted everything to do with that. Turns out he only lived a 2-hour jaunt from me, so the logical thing to do is tell him my address to come pick me up. Stupid. First date was extremely awkward. Bowling and soda pop. I could tell he was interested, but just didn't know how to communicate without computers between us. I gave it a second shot after our phone conversations continued, and he expressed some frustration that he had such terrible first date jitters. My school was hosting a battle of the bands, so I figured it would be a more social setting for us to communicate. The guy picks me up at home and literally showers me with gifts. A very expensive band sweatshirt, a birthstone ring, what the F, some small origami hearts all in a wooden box he had handmade, along with some flowers. I was taken aback, but thought it was super sweet, just a little bit much for a second date, especially after the first date was so awkward. We're at a concert and he starts talking to some of my friends. There's a band I want to see, so I walk away from the table we were sitting at. Band finishes and I turn around and he's gone. I looked for him and asked around, and he had decided to give my friend a ride home without letting me know, and had no intentions of returning for me. I had to grab a ride with my neighbors. Needless to say, I was upset and decided the relationship was a no-go. I broke it off over the phone. He continuously emailed me for the next couple of days. He didn't know what he was doing and feared he made the biggest mistake of his life. He started sending me stuff. At first, it was letters and gifts. More flowers, CDs of him singing songs, then lockets of hair and condoms he had done his business in. I should have told my parents at this point, but I was afraid of getting in trouble for lying about my age and meeting someone from the internet. I was mostly ignoring these things, occasionally asking him to stop. My sister, 17, approached me one night when we were home alone and asked me about a guy who had added her to MSN and was gushing about how in love with me he was. I was sitting near her and told her to just ignore him. She thought it was funny and urged him on. She told him to come over and she would help us work it out. I was devastated. I explained everything that had happened and she started freaking out. We locked up and shut off lights, went downstairs and called my parents. My father came home and walked outside when the guy pulled in. He immediately turned around and left. No word from him for about a week. One day, my sister's on the computer/MSN and says, "Oh shoot, you need to take a look at this." I see his username and then my sister had downloaded a file from him. It is a video of him carving my name into his chest. At the end, he looks at the camera dead on and says, "This is my final goodbye." I never heard from him again. Checked newspapers from his area for suicides because I was that freaked out. Years later, I found him on Facebook. I stalked his pictures a little bit. You can still see my name scarred into his chest. Just your average online dating tale where the guy thinks you'd make the perfect stepmom for his baby. Posted by you/buttchick. I know everyone who has tried online dating has come across at least one creepy weirdo. I've had quite a few in my time. I have to say though that online dating did me real right, because I met my wonderful boyfriend of 7 years on the same platform. So I guess it was worth it to wade through the creepers. So this was probably around 10 years ago, making me about 22 years old, and I am indeed a lady. I used OkCupid, and being that I'm a woman, I got lots of messages. I'm not even hot, and I was drowning in dudes sending me real nasty messages, either wanting to roleplay or hoping for a quick and dirty hookup. The guy that is the focus of this story though, he messaged me and seemed real normal at first. We were chatting through OkCupid for maybe a day when he asked me for my phone number. I told him that I like to talk online for at least a few days before giving out my phone number. I had to instate this policy for myself after playing it way too loose and winding up with a dude that messaged way too often, tried to call so many times, who claimed he was a psychic. Bro, if you're psychic, maybe you could see that I'm not interested anymore. So I told this guy I'd happily give him my number after we talked for a few days online, if we were still jiving. He asks if he can add me on Facebook. I thought that was fine since it was more convenient for me to use their chat feature than the OkCupid one. Within literal minutes of accepting his friend request, I received a text message from a number I don't know. It says something to the effect of, "If you don't want to give out your phone number, you shouldn't have it visible on Facebook to your friends list." I went and checked my settings and angrily discovered that the number Facebook prompted me to give them for authentication purposes that they claimed would not be visible was indeed visible to my Facebook friends. I was PO'd at myself for not double checking, at Facebook for being so sketchy, and at this guy. If he had sent that exact message through Facebook Messenger, I wouldn't have been upset at all with him. I'd have thanked him genuinely for alerting me of the mistake. But it just felt skeevy to me that he knew I didn't want to text him, and his message felt really condescending, like, "Haha, you didn't want me to have this, but I found it on my own because you effed up." I blocked him on Facebook and I texted him back saying thanks for alerting me to my mistake, but I'm no longer interested in talking to him anymore. That's when the creepiness really started. He sent me a bunch of messages via text and through OkCupid. First messages were apologetic. "I'm sorry, I just thought you should know your number was out there. Please give me another chance. You're the only girl that has ever responded to any messages I sent." Cool, so you want me because no one else wanted you? There were a bunch like that. Also reminding me about how lonely he was since his last girlfriend left him 6 months ago and took their newborn with her. Then the messages became angry. He was telling me that I was a B-word for rejecting him because he was just trying to show me that my number was there. He was saying if he didn't point it out to me, then gosh, maybe some scary wife-beater type of guy would have been the one to find it. So how dare I reject him for being nice and looking out for my safety? Then there were a lot of insults, nasty slurs towards women and sour grapes, stuff about how I was probably really fat in person. Then it got really pathetic, and he sent the messages responsible for the title of the post. He basically said he was on OkCupid looking for a woman to get serious with because he has a kid now. He really has no idea how to care for a son, but he just loves him so much and really wanted a great woman by his side to help raise him when he had him. He told me how with all of my babysitting experience I mentioned and my love of kids that I would be a perfect candidate. It was such BS that I didn't want to talk to him anymore over something so dumb. I should really reconsider because I'm not just rejecting him, I'm also rejecting his poor, innocent 7-month-old son. I would have been the perfect stepmom for his son. I had just been ignoring the messages once he started going on about how he was basically shopping for a stepmom. I was just like, what the flying F is this BS? I just felt like that was so creepy. I'm a person. I'm not freaking interviewing for an unpaid, lifelong, nannying, bang-maid position. Not that that's how I view step-parents, but that's how he seemed to. I sent him a text saying I told him I was not interested and that I viewed his messages as harassment and that I would go to the police if he didn't stop. He sent one more message, something like, "I guess I'll never find love then." Guess not, bro. At least not until you sort yourself out to realize that A, shopping for stepmoms is not how to find love, and B, messaging women hundreds of times after they've rejected you is not romantic. It's harassment. I'd like to end this by saying how beyond thankful I am to be in a relationship. I do not miss being single and dealing with stuff like this at all. Also, of course, my boyfriend is my favorite human. I'm not just with him because I hate dealing with all the BS that comes with dating.